This is a part where you put everything together about your project to sum up what you have learned. You are free to use your imaginations. You can maybe record a screencast video to complete the narrative by explaining verbally. You could put all the components together using a storytelling software like Book app, right? Book Creator app, or even a comic book app, right? And submit it. You could go the old fashioned route and just type a paper. I'm not picky. I just need answers, people. So please do your best. I've given you a lot of support on this page. So let me explain. You have 10 questions that you need to answer. And we are going to answer question A. And there's an example here. My example says my logo was translated 2 units to the left and 3 units up, then compressed by a factor of 1/3, then rotated 180 degrees, and finally reflected over the line y equals -x. I have put some keywords here for you that you can use to help you write your own description verbally. Next, part B, what color is each transformation range on the graph outline? So the example, this is my example, my orange was pre-image, my purple was a translation, my green was a dilation, my red was a rotation, my black was a reflection. You'll do the same with yours. Now we're off to questions C through F. We answered those questions in steps 1 through 3. So OMG squared, we can move on. All right, so now we're at questions G through I and K. And these questions are about what you have learned through the entire unit. So you're going to read the questions carefully and use your notes to answer the questions if you have to. All right, so let's take a look at what those questions are. So we're going to go back to the overview of the project. And look at those. And so here, the overview of the project, the steps, the questions are down here below at the bottom. So I'll scroll down so that you can see the questions. All right. There is a sample answer here for you. So click on that and that will take you to a document that is a sample answer for you of all 10 questions. Pretty much like the example that I gave you just now. But that's extra support for you. Okay, and now let's look at questions G through I and K. So how are the X and Y axis reflections similar? How are they different? So you're going to compare and contrast. H, compare and contrast clockwise and counterclockwise. So you're going to talk about how they're similar and how they're different. Make sure you hit both parts for both of these because you are comparing and contrasting. So you want to talk about how they're the same and how they're different. For I, what determines whether an image shrinks or enlarges in a dilation? And for K, did you run into any hurdles while completing the project? How did you overcome them? And what would you do differently next time to avoid them? So these are questions that you can find in your notes, G, H, and I. And K is a personal question about your journey through the project. Finally, let's look at J. So J is actually this part here. It says, what is your final composite function for the final output? So I've included a video here to help you write your composite output. And I've included a picture here to show you what that output should look like. There are 2 different ways to write it. And so you can choose whichever way you want to write it. And now it's time to finalize and submit your project. Remember at the top, you were told to choose something like a Google Doc, a Google Slide, a Book Creator app, a comic book. You can do a narrative on the video and screencast. You have options. I just need answers. So once you pull all of that together, you are ready to submit your project.